I think what's happening.
Propaganda.
Okay, my pick for the win on the presidential Q&A were between Herman Cain and Rick Santorum, and not particularly in that order. I like Herman Cain. My main concern with Cain is that he's too much of a leader, though. Remember, y'all, we're looking for someone to represent our values, not just be strong on their own beliefs and go into office and lead by what they think is right. They have to represent the people who voted for them and do what they think is right. I think if Herman Cain was more in tune to represent conservatives, he wouldn't have said this, for example.
First of all, I wanted to get your reaction to Sunday. You said we should not release the pictures.
Yes.
And I was surprised. I thought I knew you well. I was surprised by your answer on that.
Now, Herman Cain has to know that most conservatives are okay with the photos being released. And for Herman Cain to ignore that and say that the photos shouldn't be released is a demonstration of him looking to lead instead of representing. Oh, come on, Zoe. That's such a trivial example. I know it is. That's because it's really hard to find things wrong with the guy. Anyway, the Tea Party that Herman Cain proudly supports isn't looking to be led. The Tea Party wants to be represented, and Herman Cain is a star with the Tea Party for all the right reasons. But my main question with Herman Cain is if he's out to lead or represent. It doesn't mean I'm saying a person has to be fake and believe whatever their base tells them despite their own beliefs. What I'm saying is that you will be a leader by default if you're prepared to make sacrifices. And if people are electing you to represent them, then you're gonna have to sacrifice the idea that you're the leader and embrace the honor of representing. Of course, you gotta show that you got the goods up front, and Herman Cain so far is delivering that with flying colors.
That's racist.
Shut up. But Herman Cain will tell you, and I gotta agree, if you go looking for the perfect conservative, you're gonna lose it all. If you get 7 out of 10 with the representative, that's a home run. Of course, I would say it depends on what those lacking 3 things are, but that's for a whole nother rant right there. I heard somebody on Lunch's Focus panel say something to the effect of Herman Cain speaks a bunch of rehearsed lines, such as his response to people saying he's never held public office, to which Cain's answer is, well, we keep putting in the same people who've held office. How's that working out for you? So what if he keeps repeating that every time it's brought up? It's a great point. And it works. And a good business person sticks with what works. Herman Cain is consistent. He's not speaking rehearsed lines. He's preaching what he practices. Now, it may seem like I was a little critical of Herman Cain earlier in this commentary. The thing is, it would take too long to point out his good qualities, and I have a feeling you're going to enjoy discovering those things on your own. A lot of other people are. Now, Rick Santorum was pimping the conservative message for true and did it the way it was meant to be, with God at the root of it. Like Herman Cain, he's social and fiscally conservative, and their faith in God radiates about them. I dig Rick Santorum. I'm not sure how well he would do against the Obama bots, though. Notice, I didn't say how well he would do against Obama. He'll tear Obama a whole new O. But him winning a debate against Obama doesn't translate to him winning over his supporters. Alan Keyes proved that. And even if the Obama supporters jump ship, they're gonna be looking to hop on the next donkey-pulled wagon. A lot of that is because of the prejudice they have against Republicans. Though someone like Santorum is far more fit to be president than Obama, which ain't saying a whole lot, it wouldn't be a good idea to run Santorum against him. You're gonna end up having to spend too much time defending yourselves against the race card for starters. If you get behind Herman Cain, you will turn the race card that the liberals keep using on us as a card to slit their own throat with. My concern is that conservatives will let the ball pass over the plate and strike out. We've had a golden opportunity to point out how sexist and misogynistic the left is, considering how they've come down on Sarah Palin. And not only have the conservatives done a poor job of pointing out liberals as the true misogynists and the reason behind things like why there's a lot of single mothers out there, mainly a lot of black single mothers, they totally dropped a wiffle ball coated with adhesive and failed to turn this back on the liberals, and they threw Sarah Palin assailant under the bus in the process. And Republicans in general still have to destroy other stigmas placed on them. Those being things like supposedly not caring about the poor, the environment, etc., and set the record straight. The self-righteousness of liberals are going to lean on those things. And what are conservatives doing to communicate to others who aren't conservatives that they've got better solutions for the aforementioned issues? I'm not saying conservatives don't have better solutions. We do. But communicating and connecting these ideas beyond the conservative tent is a whole nother half of the battle. To continue, I am not a supporter of Ron Paul, and I'm still not. Ron Paul is a libertarian, and I can barely count on one hand how many libertarians I have great respect for. Some you might know would be Larry Elder and our very own Stephen Green. Other than that, I really don't have much respect for libertarians. Know why? Because a libertarian is just a liberal who doesn't have a love-hate relationship complex with capitalism. You think that just because you want the government out of the way and that you claim to be fiscally conservative, that makes you a conservative? The majority of libertarians that I encounter are pro-abortion, pro-legalized prostitution, pro-legalized drug use, and then they turn around and think that they're conservatives because they feel that as long as they hold the position that they shouldn't have to pay for these things that people want to do with their life, they qualify as conservatives. Good luck with that, because a lot of people who are pro-abortion, use drugs, and whatever else in between are people who make up the majority of the entitlement society. Let's legalize prostitution. Sure, let's make it easier for people to cheat on their spouse and break up their marriage, resulting in another single-parent home. Then tell that mom she can't get government assistance because we libertarians don't want to pay for your failed marriage, even though we think people should have the total accessibility to the things that they want to do that'll totally screw up their marriage. It looks to me that we're going to have to invite more government to make sure those dads are paying that alimony and child support. And being that the divorce rate in America is around 50%, I don't think it's too far-fetched to speculate that under the libertarian plan, that number would escalate. To a libertarian, real freedom means being able to use drugs if you want to. Really? A person who can't deal with reality and is dependent on recreational drugs to cope is freedom to you? But alcohol has been destroying people's lives and it's legal. Yeah, let's legalize more life-destroying agents. And I guess you libertarians are going to make sure there's not going to be any bureaucracy sprouting up like Starbucks to regulate your legalized drugs and legalized prostitution businesses. Legalizing drugs will stop the black market? Wrong. The black market will target minors with gusto. Trust me, the black market will do just fine. Dysfunctional kids who have no father figures raised by a single mother are ripe for the picking. Rich kids who want to prove that they're not sheltered are ripe for the picking. Oh, there is a wide open field to be plowed for the black market. And then these teens get pregnant and want to have an abortion. Go ahead and try to tell the entitlement culture that they can't get an abortion paid for by the state. Libertarians say weird stuff like, look at Portugal and Amsterdam. They're doing just fine. Well, if you think that being on drugs makes you a better nation, then you take your stone silly behind over there then. Ron Paul is not a conservative. He's a liberal. His social policy cancels out his so-called fiscal policy, and his national security policy sounds more like he's been smoking too much of his social policy. I'm very clear on why I don't support Ron Paul. Anyway, that's a little bit of what I got out of the Republican presidential Q&A.